What's up guys, Kavilp here, and today I'm back with another simple tutorial. So you might have seen this type of renders or illustrations where you have like a pawn. In this case, in a chessboard scenario, you have this pawn, but there's a light coming from somewhere, and you get the shadow of this uh, king. Okay, so I actually saw this you know some guys uh, render. It wasn't a render, it was done in Photoshop, I guess. But I thought it would be a really pretty amazing tutorial to show you guys how you can do it. And I've also not done this before, but I sort of know how to do this, and there are many possible ways you can do this. But today I'll be showing you how you can use this layers, right? So many of the beginners might not know this layers, to use layers. So it will be a really easy guide for you guys to uh, do this trick as well, and also learn how to use layers. So let's get started with this. So let's just see, my pawn is a little unsubdivided. Let's go to the cube and just increase the subdivision. Yeah, sorry for my I'm little sick. And okay, so what we can do is we can just hide all this, and I can just do this. So what do we have here right now? Let's just say uh, we have this models of king and pawn, which will be I don't think it is necessary. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this part at the last, and you can totally skip it because it's a pretty simple model. I don't think you should need a tutorial for that too. And let's get started. So the most important things we have to keep in our mind while creating this type of images is both of these bottoms should be the exact same scale, and I'll show you mine is. Okay, so what I've done is I've actually used the bottom part, the single I've used the same thing to model both of the objects, and it was a really rough process, so I have not. Anyway, this is going to use will be used as a shadow, so you don't have to model it always perfectly. As you can see here, this is just a simple cast sphere, sorry, cast subdivided cube, which is which I'm using as a sphere. And also it's bit low poly because I don't want a lot of details right now. We can definitely increase it in renders. Enough of the talking, let's just see what we have to do here. So we have here two collections called king and pawn. Okay, and we do need another collection over here, which will be our lights, floor, and a wall. Okay, so let's just select on scene collections. Let me just where is it, preferences, viewport, and not viewport, yes, um, 0.85 should be fine, I guess. Yeah, let's just so you can see it better. I hope you can see this as well. I have recently added these features. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring my pawn over king. So we have this, so we have both on uh, in the center, and we are going to create a plane. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale it a lot bigger, actually. Something like that. And also I'm just going to duplicate this about here, and I'm going to just snap it over something like this. So we have sort of a wall, we don't have to do it like this also. So we can do this, and let's just set up a camera as well. Now do not add these planes, or keep in mind that you shouldn't add these planes, okay, which is not part of this uh, king or pawn into the collections, because we are going to duplicate these connections collections into a separate layer, and I'll show you that in a second. But be very careful while importing your or adding meshes. uh, Check which collection you have selected. So anything out of particular collection we can use a sin collection, but if I want to add anything to this king or pawn, I'm going to select this and then I'm going to import it, and now that cube will automatically get into king. So while making collections, please do remember that, guys. Anyway, let's move forward. Let's just get sort of we can use a area lamp, but I do want to use the spot lamp because it actually has a really good effect. Let's just keep it here for now, and I'm going to create like a oops different window, something like, why it's not happening. What? Okay, yeah, bit buggy over there. And we can add a simple camera over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to uh, click on view with camera selected, and camera to view, and hit 0 and hit home. So we have this camera to our scene, and let's just see a really good, very good angle, something like this. So we can also use um, where is that, we can use guides for our measure, something like this. And let's just say it's going to be something like this, or should we go, let's just try to get both of this inside this square. And we can definitely move this afterwards. Also 50 mm is bit too I think we can definitely use a much wider lens so that we get that perspective sort of thing. And I actually want to go a much more, actually, let's go like really, let's go like 16 mm. I think 16 mm is something like typical phones use, right? uh, this looks a bit wonky, and I'm kind of happy with it also. Okay, let's just nah, 15 is looking too shabby. Let's just go 25, something like this. And we can just lock in our camera by disabling camera to view, and now it won't move. After that, let's just zero out our world, so we have something like this with nothing. And we can, what we can do is we can just increase our lights, something like this. Now I've actually done something wrong over here, which is why it's not working properly. And as you can see, I have my spotlight and camera in the wrong collection. Also, what I can do is I can just put everything else into a new collection called this extras, gizmos, whatever you would like to call them. And I'm just going to hide this. And the problem I think I have is this is not the proper scale. So I know this king is about 10 centimeter, so let's just go for 10 centimeter. And I am going to set the origin to the 3D cursor, something like this, and then bring these two guys down, something like this. And I'm also going to scale my grid down as well, something like this. And I will basically try to, yeah, I would basically try to adjust it something like, yeah, something like this. And after that, let's just unhide it. And as we can see, our whole scene is just giant big scene. And what we can do is I can take this and just say it to cursor, and we can scale this down. Also, we can just readjust our cameras. We can go to camera to view and just click on some surface, something like this, or we can just click on this empty, and let's just reassign our camera, something like something sort of this. Also, what I would like to do is change my ratio to 4:3, and let's just make it a bit something like this, a little close, something like this. And if you are getting some issues like this, we can always go into view, not view, but what we can do is we can select our camera, and under clipping we can just do something like this. And let's just keep it something like this, so we have our shadow over here, something like that. Okay, let's just lock in our camera also. And now let's I feel it's a bit too much big, something like this. And let's just bring this over here, scale this down a bit, and something like this. Let's just keep this into the camera mode. Okay, and now if we take our lamp and uh, try to adjust it about something like this. So the most important point for doing this is we need to understand how this lamp works, the spot lamp works. So if we keep it like this, okay, it's too much. Okay, something like this. You can see how it's creating light in this sort of angle or form. So what we need to do is we need our light source like coming something like this. Okay, so we need to see our light as well here also, and then it also need to cover this spectrum or this area also. So for that, what I'm going to do is we are just going to, let me just clear this up. Oops, something like this. Okay, yeah, so what we are going to do is I'm just going to rotate it so that it is flat on one of this surface, and I'm going to move it just so that it barely touches the floor. Okay, something like this should work actually. And now it's looking a bit like a little too uh, big actually. Let's just uh, scale this down. I would like to adjust it a bit far. Okay, so the farther you are, the smaller the shadow will be. So we cannot definitely show a pawn, a pawn like smaller than the king shadow. So it definitely has to be like this close, right? But the scale is a bit off, and I would like to control the spot size by this, something like this. And we can just give few more seconds to this to make this a better image, something like this. And for the hardness of this, we can also use this blend value to just just sorry, not blend value, the radius, to just blur it out or keep it like a little smooth, or like a blurry sort of, it's not a harsh light. Let's not try to create a harsh light. Okay. Also we can just what we can do is I can just increase this, something like this, make it a little more blur. How about this? Okay, let's just divide it by half. uh, this should look good, and we are good to go from this moment. So we have this, my keys are over here, I do want them here. So let's just do something like this. Yeah, let's hit T. So T and N. Also I do want to hide this and this. Okay. So after this, what we are going to do is let's just okay, clean this up. And it's a big lab, not to worry. This is not going to create any sort of problems. So now we have to create three things, or most likely two things. So the first thing is, what we need to create is, we need to create uh, create this pawn. Okay, which will be only taking in this light and nothing else in this scene. Okay, this pawn, our pawn should uh, only receive light, and it should not create shadows. It should not create any sort of reflection, or ambient occlusion, or any sort of thing that connects with the, or that leaves anything, or like creates a effect that you know indirect lighting sort of situation. Okay, so we have this and also then what we want is, on the other layer, we do not want our king in this main image. Okay, so while we are, okay, let me show you from this angle. Okay, from our camera view, let's just disable this guides. Yeah, so for the first layer, what we want is, we just want our pawn, right? And on the second layer, what we want is our king, but only its shadow. Okay, and then whatever light it's receiving. So what we are going to do is, uh, I'm going to rename this, the whole collection, called pawn. Okay, so this is our pawn, and in this collection, what we are going to do is, we are going to like uh, isolate our pawn, right? And then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to hit this option called new scene, and I'm going to create like a full copy, or I could create like a link copy, and I would actually create a link copy, since link collections from the current scene shadow copy. Okay, so what we need to do is, let's just create a full copy, because I'm not sure how the link copy system works, but I know how full copy works. So let's just create full copy for now. And what you might have seen that this is now changed to pawn 001. So what it has done, it has created another copy of this layer. Now many of you might be getting confused that, oh, nothing has changed. Well, it is not changed because you have created the exact copy. As you can see, whenever Blender creates a duplicate, it always creates this .001. Okay, so if I hide this pawn here, you can see the pawn is gone and only king is left. But if you go to pawn, the original one, you'll see the pawn right here. So what we can do is we can create, or we can rename this as our king. Okay, so let's just bring everything back and let's go to pawn, and there's everything. Okay, let's just go into random view and let's just disable our wireframe, and we have this pawn, and we need to create or isolate our pawn. So how we are going to do this? Okay, so there are some features over here called holdout and indirect lighting, and we are not going to use holdout right now, but we are going to use indirect only. So let's just select that, and you can see this has created some another toggle button sort of things. So what this actually is, well, indirect is, let me just show you how, or like let me just read out to you. Objects in the collections only contribute indirectly, okay, through shadows and reflections in the view layer. Control to isolate collection, shift to set inside collection. So as you can see, as you can read from it, as you can understand, this is exactly what we want. We want the indirect lighting for our pawn, and we just want to keep that, right? So what I'm going to do is, we definitely do not want king for this collection, so I'm going to just disable it. Okay, disable it from the render view as well, or we can just keep it like this only. After that, we also do not want the background and our floor, so we can hide it as well. But as you can see, since our lights and our floor and wall are into the same collection, we cannot just or forget about the walls and the floor. Our lights is into this collection, so we cannot do that as well. So what we can do, we can tell Blender to only use lights from this collection, and this button will help us do it. So as you can see, we have this beautiful light coming here, and it only has the light and nothing else. So this is it for our pawn, right? Let's just go into solid view, and let's go to the king, and inside king, what do we want? So I know definitely for sure that we do not want a pawn here. Also, we do not want our king as well, the king mesh, but we do need the shadows, right? So can we use this? Of course. Now here the what we say here Blender or this sign is telling Blender to use this mesh and use its shadows and reflections only in this scene. So we are getting this effect, and the reason why I said the bottoms should be similar, because this might create a weird sort of issue if your scales aren't perfect. So right now we have this both things done, and we might have this weird bit of issue, and what we could do is we could just go into our render film and hit transparent, so it just makes a good pretty image. um, Also, after that, what we can do is we can just check our scene again. So we have pawn, and I think we should create a transparent for this one as well. Now keep in mind, you might have realized that I've just clicked on transparent, but I had to click it again in this again for the pawn scene also. So the most important thing is to understand is, imagine this like you are working in two separate different files in one software, or like one project. Okay, so these right now are two entirely different scenes. Okay, even though we'll be using this for the same render, these are two entirely different scenes. And after that, what we are going to do is, I'm just going to render this out on like 50% uh, resolution, okay, of this. And also I'm not going to use anything fancy. I don't need so many samples since this is going to be our test render anyways. And I'm just going to hit F12 and hit render. So we have our this render, and I also need to render our pawn, so let's render that as well. So now you might have noticed another problem again. So this one is definitely different, and I'll show you why it's happening. And the answer is somewhere over here. So I guess you could you could only render the active layer, rendering the interface. So I also do get confused in these things. Also what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to do this manually. Let's go for 25, and also let's change here for the 250. I'm going to render this out as well. So right now, as you can see it, I have like a very blurry image, and let's just uh, change this to image viewer and render the result. And let's go here to the compositing. So as you can see, we have this beautiful simple render, and what I'm going to do is, I'm going to shift D on this and change this to king. So now we have this. Okay, so why is this not okay? So now we have this and we have this. So definitely we have some scale issue over here. Let me just fix this. Okay, so this is 50%, this should be 50% as well. So I'm going to render this again. So this is done, and this is done as well. So let's close this, and now as we can see, it's both there. And what we can do is, I can just connect this, bring it out here, and as you can see, we have this proper mix of both. You might be able to see this. Now we do not do have to like create a proper copy. Well, as you can see here, we kind of have a perfect alpha for this as well. So let's just use this alpha. Oops, and I'm going to invert this selection, something like this. And as you can see, we have created our image properly. Now there are some things you should keep in mind for this as well. The shadow over here, it is there, but since it's like a flat shadow, and I really think area light would have been much better for this. Also, I think I should have done a linked copy rather than this whatever I have done. So let's just try with the Let's go to the layout, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to my king and I'm going to delete it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a link copy, and I'm going to call it king, so that I feel we are on the same page. So if I do this 9%, will it change here? So it does not. So I don't know what linking is this. Can I just do like, okay, so it definitely helps with lighting, so that is one relief. Other than that, I don't think if I do this will it change over here. Okay, so it doesn't do anything to this as well. Okay, so this is fine, but I really don't know if it would be really easy if we could control this, like if this had a link it would have been really easy. Let's just make a scene a little more visually beautiful, so that we can create like a proper beautiful render. And let's just, I'm going to zero it out, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scale this so that it's covering proper area, something like this. Let's just do or what else we can do is I can model a simple chessboard. Let's do that actually. And what I'm going to do is I am going to get into edit mode and delete these vertices. So we have created this, just done. I do want to sort of create like a bevel, but then no matter to do that actually. Let's leave it like this. We can make a wall a bit, let's go with red, since that's a channel's color. I think it will look really weird in red. Let's disable our wire mode, and let's just increase the spotlight. So yeah, red looks really pretty in this scenario actually. Let's just go in our spotlight and try to, you know, adjust our radius, maybe something like this. We can definitely make this smaller. This looks pretty good actually, but let's just keep it like this. It's good. um, if you think it's getting too much light, what we can do is we can actually texture this, but I'm not going to waste your time in this. And so let's just what we can do is we can just add a simple area light on the top, so that, or what we can do is instead of that we can just get our own simple indoor HDRI to just give us some extra lighting, not too much, something like this. We can go a bit low, something like this. um, Also, since this is so close, it's creating this type of effect. You can also try different ways. So this is definitely not giving area light, because since its spread is all over 180. So if we like do like one or like a very less amount of spread, it would work properly. But spotlight looks really cool, and I do want to continue with it. Also, let's just what we have done, let's just revise it. So for the pawn collection, we only need to see our pawn, right? So we can hide these extras, and we can hide the king, and we can say like only use this as an indirect light. Sorry, not hide our extras, but only use as an indirect light. And now you can see how this has this really red color bouncing off, and you can see this pawn collecting that reflection or bounce light on it. So this is why indirect lighting is really important. And also the other option, hold out, is basically to mask some object out, and we'll carry or we'll understand it, or learn it in next tutorial or future tutorials. So let's not just worry about it. And then we can go into king, and we can say that we don't want to see our pawn, or sorry, we do want to see our pawn and we do not want to see our king. Sorry, we want to see our king only indirect and not our pawn, and but everything else can stay. Also, we can just do a 100% render over here, as well as 100% render over here. And let's just check all of the other things we can. I don't want to like use this denoising data. I don't know why I don't like it. Let's just do this for king also. And after that, we can just render this layer out. And we can go to pawn, and we can render this out as well. Okay, so after this is done, I would like to divide my scene into two different viewports. And let's just go into compositor here, and a viewer node here, so it's just a better understanding. um, Also, let's just delete all of this. Let's start from the new, and we can just shift D over here, something like this. Import a denoising data, something like this. And let's just change this layer to king. Sorry, yeah, something like this. And what we can do is we can just control shift and right click drag on this to mix this. And we can also use alpha over, I guess. Let me just see if we can. Yeah, we can definitely. I think we should use alpha over rather than mix, and we can use this alpha for our factor. Let's just wait for this to cook up. And we definitely need to toggle this. So my my PC is pretty slow. So anyways, we have successfully created this image. Looks pretty good. It's catching off the light and everything is really good. what I will do is I will create some textures and do a bit more changes so it looks like a pretty good image. I hope you might have understand how layers work. If you have any problems, please do comment down below. I would really happy to make a more in-depth tutorial. Also, if you have a problem in understanding my English, because I sort of like have a bad English, अगर तुम लोगों को हिंदी में ट्यूटोरियल चाहिए तो वो भी बता देना, वो भी मैं कर सकता हूँ. आई एम अ गोवन. आई माई हिंदी इज़ नॉट टू गुड बट आई ट्राई टू जितना अच्छा हो सकता है वो कर लूँगा मैं. और बता देना अगर हिंदी में ट्यूटोरियल चाहिए तो वो भी बता देना. एंड डोंट फॉरगेट टू लाइक एंड सब्सक्राइब द वीडियो. That helps me a lot. If you're looking for quick models to add to your scene, do check out BlenderKit. It's an amazing tool to help you speed up your workflow. An affiliate link will be in description below, so you can get a like good 10% discount. If you like to support me directly, my UPI address is also provided below. Any amount will be like greatly appreciated. And as a token of thanks, you can request one of these models to share with you if you donate. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned a few new things from it. But yeah, that's it for today, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.